various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am the Eldritch Abomination, occasionally associated with a homonym, Alexander Gordon Johansson. Welcome to my very, very weird vlogginess shire. So, people have been making a lot of comments, a lot of observations, a lot of criticisms. The thing is that like I've done a degree in writing, creative and professional writing and film studies. I know about writing, and so when people criticize the writing of headlines, when people criticize, it's not, they've buried the lead, why are they making it sound more exciting than it really is, right? It's kind of, it feels a little like, being amongst a bunch of sort of like preschoolers as they suddenly sort of, observe that gravity works a certain way, or it's this weird sort of scenario of what, you're only fucking getting this now, and it's not that I regard myself as some kind of grand archdeacon of knowledge. It's just that I think this is basic and simple, and we should all know this by now, but some people don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are surprised and they're critical, and it's like, yeah, this is the world we live in now. Get over it, right? Like, So I will cite a source on this occasion. A book called Flat Earth News by Nick Davies. And suffice to say, I got the audiobook. I think it's a very good audiobook. Should probably re-listen to it at some point. And in that book, essentially, Nick Davies goes on to sort of outline how we have moved from the age of journalism to churnalism. Essentially, there was a time when journalism was, it meant investigation. You would have journalists who would go out and they would investigate a story, and weeks or months would go by of people investigating a story. Maybe years would go by of people investigating something, and then they would come to the editorial board and they would outline their research and they would craft their articles, and that would be your feature or whatever. But as the speed of communication and the speed of production and publication and events has increased, so the speed of journalism has increased, and the time to fact check, the time to proofread, the time to check the legality has gone away. And the ways that it goes away is how we get into journalism. Because the thing is that, like, the way business works is that you just assume, well, if you pay people enough, or more likely, if you insist that they can only have a job if they do this, then you can just expect them to be able to do things, right? And so the idea is that you can just say to someone, well, it's your job. You have to make sure that this article is written out, in like 5 minutes, and it's got to be up straight away, and it's got to be entirely factually accurate. You've got to properly investigate it, and blah, 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 blah. And they know it's not going to be factually accurate. They know they know there are going to be errors. They know absolutely, because essentially, like, there isn't the time, right? People being people, the fact that journalism used to be a weeks or months long endeavor doesn't guarantee that it would be factually accurate, but there was time for it to be. We have reached a point where journalism is too quick. And the reason it's too quick is because, right, even if your people decide to tell that you're going to investigate it properly, nobody's going to care, because somebody else will spread it quickly, right? And to a certain extent, Let's Plays have become an example of this. The reviews used to be this thing that were kind of an aspect of journalistic criticism, whereby an investigative journalist would kind of review a thing and properly criticize it, and it would be out on time. And now the moment something drops, there are going to be Let's Plays of it. The moment something drops, there are going to be reviews of it, of people just saying, well, this is my opinion, straight away. So to a certain extent, embargoes don't really matter. To a certain extent, you can just release something on launch day, because, yeah, you're going to hype the fuck out of it, and you're going to get a whole bunch of idiots to buy it on launch day. But realistically, you don't need the review to be there. You don't need the fully researched, fact-checked, blah, 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 because there's going to be someone there on the day it's out, regardless of how it's available, who will be giving an insight into it. And enough people will be doing that you'll be able to form an overview and a perspective. And this has been happening all the time in every different area of journalism, that as the speed has increased, so the capacity to fact check has gone away. So the ability to put any kind of rigor behind it has gone. It's quick, it's fast, it's And the thing is that you can't afford to be slow, because you're not just competing with the other newspapers. You're not just competing with the other news programs. You're competing with every other fucker with an iPhone or a webcam or whatever. You are competing with basically every citizen in the world of the internet, right? So if you're trying to make money out of that situation, and if you're trying to make money from views, yeah, you gotta take shortcuts. And to be honest, right, even in the days of proper research in terms of articles, yeah, headlines were a thing, right? The headline is not the article. You do not craft a headline to be entirely factually accurate, because that's what the fucking article is, right? That wasn't a problem when you were just assuming that, people would buy your fucking newspaper. It's only a problem when people don't bother to fucking read articles. They just see the headline and share the headline, right? The problem is not that clickbait articles exist. The problem is that we're all too fucking thick to not read past the article. And it's like, I see friends all the time who are like, but that headline isn't saying what the article says. Yes, it's a fucking headline. The headline is not the article. The title of the book is not the fucking book. The Lord of the Rings is not the contents of the Lord of the fucking Rings. Right? An article is not its title. But nonetheless, so many of us just share it because we're gonna pump stuff out there. And to a certain extent, like, this is why you end up in journalism, because it's not just about people creating the content, it's also about people sharing the content. It's, you end up in this sort of, in this age whereby it's not even necessarily about, the independent or even, or the actual creators, like, this is a thing with David Attenborough, or this is a thing with I know no fucking journalists, or rather I know them but I don't know their names because that's the way my fucking mind works. Like, it's not about the journalist anymore. It's not Hunter S. Thompson's piece. It's not about, the Guardian, the Independent, or whatever. It's about, my friend Dave. He shares really interesting things, and this is where the idea of filter bubbles comes into it as well, which is that you can end up in this weird situation now whereby journalism has happened. People can't afford to fact check. People have to do clickbaity headlines to a certain extent. They have to have enticing headlines that will try to get you to fucking read the article, or at the very least share it enough that somebody might fucking read the article and give you ad revenue. But all that happens, and then because of filter bubbles, because of, essentially algorithms kind of deciding what you want to see, you can end up with essentially churned out horseshit cropping up, a day later, a week later, years later, because the algorithm suddenly decides, now's the perfect time to show you this. And you do see this occasionally, whereby, like, bullshit will resurface, or something that, that happened a year ago will get a follow-up headline, or there will be an amendment to it, and the original headline will circulate again, and nobody will bother to actually read the article, so they'll just believe the same shit over and over again, and nobody fucking fact checks, because we just don't, it's like nobody bothers to fucking read the terms and conditions, and you can complain about it all you want, you can rant and rave, and it's not gonna change that. This is human nature interacting with technology, right? We are in the age of fast information, which means a lot of it's gonna be bullshit, right? Some of it is actually fake, some of it is satire, some of it is propaganda, and some of it is genuine, but nonetheless shared under the knowledge that it will be, amid all this other stuff. And what you also get is, because, essentially you have sharers, right? Sharers don't really care, to a certain extent, whether it is fake or satire or whatever. They just want to create this, to share stories that appeal to a theme. It's like I say quite honestly that my Facebook fan page, which, it's in the list of links in my description, right? I say quite honestly, my Facebook fan page, it's left-wing propaganda. I'm not fact-checking. I'm not going through going, yes, see this, yes, I fact-checked and this is brilliant. No, fuck this. I am trying to stay sane in the world of Donald Trump with fucking alt-right stalkers. I am not going to spend ages fact-checking every single thing that I share. I don't care. It might be fake. It might be satire. It might be bullshit Russian propaganda. And it might also be true. I don't care. If it fits the narrative that I am trying to tell, away it goes. And I guarantee you other people feel the same way. This is why trigger warnings came about. Trigger warnings came about because essentially you would have people whose sharing sort of feed would be a whole load of, dog pictures and cat pictures and, oh, look at this cute celebrity couple, and then they would read an article that actually really appealed to them, or more likely, something would crop up on their timeline that would make them feel guilty, so they would feel obliged to fucking share it on their puppies and kittens and cute celebrities timeline. And because everybody who's following them is following them for cute stuff that makes me feel good, they feel inclined to say, hey, you know, just so you're aware, I usually write about cute fluffy stuff, and this is about rape and murder and incest and suicide and a whole load of stuff that, you know, you maybe don't want to see if you're just here for cute little kittens. So, fair warning. You know, it's, you know, because sharers are what's important, right? And to a certain extent, the rage against the trigger warning is actually a rage against the very meagerest form of fucking editorial fucking guidance over what you're actually sharing, right? It's like people don't care whether it's fake or satire or propaganda. And the one time people are conscientious enough to say, you know what, this is fucking horrible, I post about kittens, but I want to post this anyway, be warned, then the one time somebody actually gives the slightest shit about giving some overview as to what they share, people are like, no, fuck you, no, well, how dare you? You're thinking about what you're sharing. You're fucking babying us. We're mature enough. We can do this. Meanwhile, you're fucking sharing satire and propaganda, and it's like, okay, people, right? Here's an idea. Instead of trying to fucking debate people, fact check before you share. Right? Because it doesn't matter that you disagree with me. Right? Because I don't matter. I'm one fucking idiot in a whole world filled with idiots, right? You can drown me out. You can share articles that are fact-checked from your perspective, that back up your arguments. You can flood the internet with your fact-checked perspectives, right? You can drown the left out. And we know this works because this is how the fucking Murdoch Empire has controlled politics for all these years. But no. The alt-right just throws a tantrum at any kind of thought or reason behind discussion, because the left will do the opposite. The left will actually throw a tantrum that, you know, it's not enough. It's not being fact checked enough. How dare they? How dare they? And it's like, you're both missing the point. That I say you both as if the left and the right are not two grand fucking spectrums, and that there's actually a spectrum in the middle as well. But, you know, like, people don't understand that this is something that you yourself can personally help with. That you could, if you wanted to, personally fact check everything you share, but you won't. You won't, because you aren't going to take the time out of your day to fact check. No! So instead, you're just going to have a bit of a rant, a bit of a moan, and you're going to get a bit fucking annoyed and fighting. Because actually practicing what you preach is too much for you. And I know it's too much for me, because, you know, I'm the guy who knows it's immoral to eat meat, but fuck it, I like bacon. I like chicken. I like to eat these animals, right? I know exactly how fucking horrible I am. And I feel like I would feel better in the world if people if people were at least honest about it. But they're not. Because we all in general like to think that we're the heroes of our own story, you know. Adolf Hitler thought he was a grand hero. Stalin thought he was an amazing hero. Nobody ever thinks, you know, I'm just shit, aren't I? And even with me, with all my self-loathing issues, even though I'm like, well, no, I'm really quite a good guy at the end of the day, aren't I? I mean, yeah, I write horrible fucking stories, and I like to eat meat despite knowing it's morally wrong, but fuck it, I'm a nice guy! We're all like that. We're all massive fucking hypocrites. And that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, I feel fucking ill. So, I'm gonna go and do something about that. See you later. Thank you to all my Patreons at patreon.com for helping to make videos like this possible. If you wish to leave a like or dislike to rate the video for my analytics, that would be much appreciated. Comments are always welcome, though be aware that they will be moderated before being published, so please be civil. If you liked this video, please consider adding it to your favourites, sharing it to your friends, or subscribing. If you wish to help me out, or my channels, please consider whitelisting my videos in your adblock software, subscribing for monthly donations through Patreon, or giving a small one-off donation. Alternatively, I have a Steam wishlist for games I would consider let's playing or streaming, so if you would like to see me broken before the Dark Souls altar, or just happen to have gotten a duplicate of a game in a humble bundle, then you know what to do. I also have an official Facebook fan page, Twitter account, Tumblr, Reddit and blog, so you can stay up to date with all of my videos, blog articles and the things I care about. Links are in the video description. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I think that all that now needs to be said is ban all guns, institute universal basic income now, and ensure government is elected by proportional representation. Oh, and also, fuck the racists and fuck the alt-right. It is a reward for Patreons that who donate $5 or more, that they get thanks for donating $5 or more to my Patreon, and I haven't been doing that because I'm sort of shit at things, and so I am going to be thanking all the people who have donated $5 or more, basically for all time so far, and this is going to be re-recorded every time someone else donates $5 more in future. So anyway, without further ado, here we go. Thank you to Michael Hamilton Fletcher, who donated on September the 13th, 2015. And thank you to Marcus Anthony Infante, who pledged $5 on September the 3rd, 2016. And thank you to Henry Wotton, who pledged $5 on September the 8th, 2016. Thank you to both of you, lovely, to all three of you, lovely people, and I will indeed be remembering to keep actually rewarding my Patreons for, you know, donating money to keep me alive, because that's nice, and because I have seen people complaining that, well, you know, this link to send you care packages from Amazon, all of the things on the wish list are really expensive. Yeah, well, you know, you can just give me money as well. That would be appreciated. So Patreons, thank you. You are lovely, wonderful. Apologies that you watch my videos, because I'm a sort of grotesque flesh golem of idiocy. Why? But anyway, thank you. Also, thanks to Martin Heavey, Cestrian vlogger, for pledging $5 a month on Patreon.